What's up, everybody? Welcome to Saturday. It's Ben's Brick Design Live. We're going to do some microfighter designs today and talk about some Lego, drink some beer, and have a good old time. For my Jewish friends out there, happy Passover. I'm not going to try to say the Chag Samech. Try to get that in there for you. So welcome. I've got the chat open over here. If anybody wants to say hello, tell me what they're drinking, what they're building, what they have planned for this evening, what they have planned for tomorrow. We are going to start off by saying thanks for visiting. I've got some big news. Also in the chat, if you are live here, let me know if you can hear the music, if you can see me okay, if you can hear me okay. I think this camera is a little smudgy, so we're gonna try to clean that up. Got some light. I forgot about the light. So cheers. First, big news. First off, I've got my owl built. The parts came in last week, and let me make sure that I'm getting the right sound here. Yeah, all right, cool. So parts for my owl came in last week. If you don't know, let's see if I can just bring it up real quick. If you haven't seen yet the owl that I've been working on, this was a project that I started a while ago, and here you can see all the pictures that I've been taking. It was a contest in which a lug member was like, the neighborhood associations needs would like a Lego owl to put on their poster. And so I thought they might need like a, I don't know what they needed. Oh, hi, Finn. I thought they might be wanting just like a regular owl, so I did this, and he's like, oh, no. They wanted like a cute little 5-brick owl kind of thing. I was like, oh, okay. But I really like this design, so I ran with it, and lo and behold, I am actually going to turn the computer so you can see it, and it might take me a minute to figure out if I'm doing it right, because I want to show you the finished product. See if you can see it okay. I'm gonna wait for a minute just to make sure it's on it. So this is the finished product. This is, I forget how many pieces it is. It's probably only about 300 or so pieces. But that's the finished product. It's a barn owl in flight. The model is mainly so, the tree branches there just to focus on the owl itself, but I really like the way it turned out. In fact, I like it so much that I submitted it to Lego Ideas, and it was accepted to the Lego Ideas program, and it went live today, this morning actually, and I freaked out a little bit. I got the email and I was like, oh my goodness, I guess we're gonna be doing this now. If you're not aware of what Lego Ideas is, it's a program where you can submit an idea to the page or to the program, and I'm gonna pull this up because that's what we're working on next. And actually, let's do this. Once you submit it to the program, if you get 10,000 votes for it, it gets submitted to the judging group, and then the judging group over the course of the next 6 months to a year will then vote on it themselves internally to figure out which one they want to do, and then Lego publishes it. They basically make a set out of whatever has been voted on. Some notable idea sets have been the Apollo rocket, the Saturn V rocket, the Yellow Submarine was an idea set. I think the Doctor Who set was an idea set. The Tron Light Cycles was an idea set. I've got a few of them. I think the ship in the bottle was an idea set, maybe. And then I also got a set for a friend who had a birthday and really liked birds, so I bought the birds set. The birds was basically 3 different birds. It was like a cardinal and a blue jay and then a finch. I forget what the third one was, but that was a precursor to the Ideas line, which was called Cuso. But it was the same premise where you submit a design and then it gets voted on, and then the Lego group decides if they, they'll judge those then later and then decide if they want to build that. So this was submitted and accepted to the group, or to the design program. And I put the link in the description. If you have a Lego account, please go vote on it. If you don't have a Lego account, please sign up for a Lego account and then go vote on it. 10,000 votes is a lot, I'm not gonna lie. And then it comes in milestones, so you can get 500 or 100 or something like that, and then they will basically allow it to go a little further. But you have only like a year or so until it's finalized, or they decide to not run it, right? And then after that, I'll put it into a set on Rebrickable, and everybody can have it. So that's the big news. The build is done. It's on ideas. Please go vote. That'd be great. So that's it for that. I don't have any new microfighters built this week. I have ordered some parts for the TIE bomber, so that's next. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this, but I'll put up some pictures maybe on Instagram later. And if you haven't followed on Instagram, I'll put my information in the description as well. But all the parts for the capital project came in today, and it's a lot. I might try to pick up the computer before the end of the night and show you, but it's basically 3 boxes, big boxes full of Lego. And it's probably about, I would say about 30,000 bricks. It's kind of ridiculous. So all those are in, and I'm going to start. I have to go through and count them and make sure that it matches the parts list. But then it's time to start building. There's a guy who worked on the tables. His name's Tim, part of our user group. Props to you, Tim. Thanks a lot for building those tables. As soon as we get those in and I can put the plates on them, it's time to build. And I'll be keeping track of that and putting it all on Instagram. You can watch the process for that. I think that's oh, I also got this in the mail last week. It is the Darth Vader Star Wars Celebration bust. They sold these at Target. It was a red card exclusive, as well as you could only get it at Star Wars Celebration. So you can see it says Star Wars Celebration, Chicago 2019. And I thought it was only going to be like, somebody said it was 1,000 sets there, and then Target would have 2,500 of them. I think they added more because they sold out really quick. So I haven't opened it yet. Not totally convinced I'm going to open it, but it'll go with these sets that I got. My friend Tucker, What's the Hops, got these for me, and I still owe him money for them. So Tucker, after New York, I got you, buddy. It only took him 6 months to get them to me, so I figured I have 6 months to pay him for them. So this is the San Diego Comic-Con sets that he got for me. So these are 3 sets that I'm not really sure I'm going to open. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Sorting, photography. Oh, yeah, got that. Some other stuff I'm going to talk about while we're designing. So anyway, let's get to the beers real quick. This is a Save the Planet. It says Twisted X on it, but ignore that, and it says HEB on that side. This is a Save the Planet, and it's a chocolate milk stout. So cheers. Save the Planet's a great organization. They make great beer. When they first started, I really wasn't into them, but the more I drank the offerings that they had, they were actually pretty solid. So there's something about maybe that first batch that was too hoppy, too IPA-ish. I'm not really sure. Cheers. Happy Saturday. Happy Passover. I don't know if I'll get through that. I might. And my second beer will be the Founders Porter. Dark, rich, sexy. That's what it actually says. This is a pretty standard porter. You can get these anywhere, and they're like $8 for a 6-pack. So it's not. I get these pretty frequently. So this is kind of fun. I pulled this out last week and I totally forgot about it. A while ago, like 10 years ago, ThinkGeek, I think it was ThinkGeek, had these shirts that you could put Lego on. So I put the BBD on it, Ben's Brick Design. And you can see these are just plates that are kind of Velcroed on, right? I'm sorry, loop and hooked on. We're not supposed to say the brand name anymore, right? Something like that. So I just threw some tile on there, BBD, Ben's Brick Design. I don't have any shirts or anything made. I might talk to my friend Will, see if he can do something for me. Will, if you're watching this later, I'll let you know. All right, I think that's it for housekeeping stuff. So last week we worked on this guy, the Asserter Class Star Dreadnought. Now this was the model done by Fractal Sponge. It was a fan model, but a lot of people like it, and it's inserted itself into almost Legends status in that a lot of people are aware of it. So I got to talk to my girlfriend about that. Apparently getting calls on her phone gets them on her Mac too. Look at that. So I hope she didn't need that call. So I don't have the file where we left off, but you can kind of go back to the end of the last video and see. I was a little kind of worried about how to make the snot bricks line up to the rest of the plates. I'm not really happy with kind of the way it leaves these gaps here. I may go back and at some point rework it before I buy them. But I think it kept the shape pretty well, I think. I reduced the size of the conning tower with the bridge on it. The thrusters I kept pretty simple. Nothing really major to add to that. I tried to keep the bottom a little more wedge shaped so it looked like it kind of had a nice wedge shape from the front. So I think that's where we left it, and I think it looks pretty good, so I'm going to go as is. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and I may get into this a little with when we get into the actual model building for this week. A lot of the stuff I've run into needs to be what is colloquially called reverse engineered. It just means I have a photograph and I'm trying to build based off that photograph. So, oh, you know what? I didn't split this screen. My bad. You guys didn't see any of this. All right, so let's look at it again. This is the Asserter Class Star Dreadnought from last week. We have to go to the explanation again. Anyway, I'll talk about it. I'll rotate this a little bit so you can kind of see. But what I've done with a few other models is that I will find and this is only about 20 or 30 of them, I find a nice photograph of it online, and I like the idea of it. This actually, from the front, kind of is a nice sort of Imperial 2 Star Destroyer, kind of that look. I like it. So I'll try to reverse engineer it based off the photographs that I have. And it becomes a problem if it's complicated enough where I can't see the internal workings of it, and I can't make what I see work based off what I assume to be the internal workings of it. It's like trying to, build a car based off a photograph of a car. It's like, well, I need to make these wheels move, and I only have a given amount of space underneath these side and corner panels and roof and hood and stuff. It's like, how do I make all this work? And I don't know how they made it work in there. Is that a V6? Is it a 4-cylinder? How does it work? So it's kind of the same thing. So along that line, a while ago I found a bantha, which I thought was really nifty. This just is the cutest little thing, and I think it's just great. And I've been trying forever to try to figure out how this is made. And I approached the designer, and he didn't have the thing built anymore, so it was hard for him to, say how he did it anyway. So this is my holy grail of reverse engineering ones, and as you can see, it's kind of in pieces right now. So I got the major parts worked out. From looking at it, I know that these are spaced a certain way, and the tail is spaced a certain way, and the guy sits up here, and he probably is standing. He's not, sitting, you know, and the horns look a certain way. But you can see I kind of gave up on a lot of it. This thing is used for the lips, and it probably sits in here somewhere being held by I don't know what. But you know, I'm close, but every time I line up something that I think looks right, if it looks right, then I try to make it fit internally. And in a lot of cases, I can't do it, so I have to kind of make it up on my own. But I really want to make this one work. I think this is perfect the way it is, and if I could just get it to work. There's some gaps down here, you know, it may not be an exact fit, but I think overall there's got to be some simple internal, you know, some of these snot 1x2 studs on both sides, or 1x2x2 bricks that just I'm not able to make it work. So this is something that I toy with every once in a while, and I'm just never able to really get it under control. So that's what goes into reverse engineering a model. If I see it, I try to get the visual part of it first, the part I can see, and then make the insides work. And sometimes it doesn't always work out. In a twisted sense of irony, I had designed the owl, the barn owl, last year, and then earlier this year I lost my hard drive. It was my backup hard drive, and I had a lot. Oh, it wasn't even my backup hard drive. It was my storage hard drive for artwork and photos and stuff like that. Because I did a lot of stuff in my office, and I started figuring, well, I need to stop doing this in my office, and I need to get these up on the cloud. And as soon as I started doing that, I started with my music files. I was getting them all up onto Google Play, and the hard drive fails, right? And it was a really old hard drive, so I'm shocked it lasted this long. But I lost a lot of design files, including the owl, and I didn't realize it until I got all the parts in, and I just panicked, realizing I don't have the parts to, you know, build the project that I really want to build. So I had to reverse engineer it based off, you know, the one photograph I had, and I think it turned out okay. But I ended up with extra parts based off of the order that I had put in. So it wasn't great. I think it could be reworked a little bit, but I got it to, you know, and I can actually take it off here, so I can kind of hold it up. But it's not terribly swooshable, but it, you know, it holds together okay. There's some parts in here that are kind of just held on by one stud, and it's reversed. So there's one of those big 4x2 by 4x3 bricks with like studs on both sides flipped on its side like this, so you can get these arches the right way. Let me flip the camera over so you can see this a little better. So I really like the face. I started with the face, and I did these arches specifically to make that face shape. They were supposed to be a dark tan, but they don't make that in dark tan. So I went with dark red because it was kind of close. It wasn't brown. I didn't want to do brown, so I thought that was a nice color because it was kind of different from the rest of the body. And I really like the way the sword, I kind of started with the idea with the swords for feathers. Now I know owls' feathers don't flare like that. These are more like hawk wings or vulture wings where they flare at the end like that. But I think it looks cool. I like the striping. The undersides of the wings are a bit fleshed out. So I may go back and add a little bit to it, but I also wanted to keep the part count down and keep it kind of light. And you know, you're kind of looking at it from, you know, that angle or something like that. I also like the way the claws worked out. I feel they're a little big, but in comparison to the photographs that I was looking at, they're not terribly big. I think they're a good size. So that's him. And again, the link to vote for him on Lego Ideas is in the description, so feel free to sign up for an account, and you know. For anybody watching too, which it looks like there's 2 people watching, thanks. One of them I think is me. So thanks for coming a little early. We have a Seder dinner to go to tonight, so I wanted to get this done a little earlier. So that's reverse engineering. I'm going to probably be doing a little bit of reverse engineering. Somebody asked me to do these guys, these speeders from episode 2. This is Zam Wessel's, forget what it's called, and then that speeder that they stole to chase her down. And they actually sent me some interesting models that they had done already. And I was like, these are great. You know, I can't redo something I think is fine the way it is. I'm going to start by using your model and then just kind of tweaking it. So anyway, so that's going to be a next one. That's kind of lower on the list because I've got a bunch of other stuff to do. So let's get started now that it's about around 10 minutes early. So the Starforge is a Legends era super station that was created by these creatures called the Rakata. And they are sort of like elders of the Star Wars universe. And I did it again. You guys didn't see any of that. So these are the, I'll go back to it. I'm going to figure out how to hotkey that maybe better. You didn't see the 2 speeders, but you know which speeders I'm talking about if you are a Star Wars fan. These elders built this space station basically that is able to take raw material and turn it into fleets of ships. So it would park above a star and just pull in raw hydrogen and use it to create, you know, capital ships and fighters and stuff. So, and then I haven't read it. I haven't read the books in a long time, but I think like it was abandoned and then it was lost for a long time, and then somebody found it and they used it to create like, and this was thousands of years ago in the Star Wars timeline. So they used it to create like Sith Empire era starships and whatnot. Anyway, it's a huge thing, but it's not necessarily a battle station like it. I don't think it was designed to fight. I think it was designed to build a bunch of stuff that could then fight. But you can see it's got a really unique shape. And at one point, if you watch Star Wars Rebels, there was thinking at one point that the Colossus that they live on, which, spoilers, was a submerged giant spacecraft. And they brought it out from underwater after their full season, and it looked like everybody was like, is it the Starforge? Because it's kind of that vertical ship shape, which has been shown up a lot more in Star Wars lately. They've got the Dryden Voss's luxury yacht thing as kind of a big vertical ship, kind of reminiscent of the Homeworld base ship, Home One or whatever it was called. That's not right. That was Star Wars. Anyway, so I felt this represented kind of a unique thing to try and build. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be a little more difficult than whatever I've done before. And so the other thing is I need to look at the list, because now I need to know who is sitting in it, and I'm mad at myself for not doing this before. I don't know which one is the new one. And as you can see, this is my giant list of things to do. So, Bastila Shan. I believe she's a Jedi of some renown from the Old Republic. So let's see what she looks like. And she's got brown hair and a ponytail or something like that. Yeah. So she's... Yeah, during the Jedi Civil War. So, long time ago. So this is going to be kind of a basic minifigure to start. And so what I'll probably do is make the person sit on this sphere so we can get a fairly good image of it. Problem is, any image that I see is like not, it's horizontal or it's vertical, so you can't really get, Pinterest. I hate Pinterest. It always does that. Here's a great image. You don't need to see it. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty good. Oh, that's actually a nice one. But this is a painting somebody did. And you can see these are all Sith Star Destroyers or Sith capital ships. They've got that weird sort of claw look. So I might just stick the person right on top there, and it might be a little weird to have him just kind of sitting between these three prongs, but, you know, we'll see what we can do. The other thing is it is three prongs, so that's going to be interesting to figure out how to get those three things going. Let's see. So first things first, let's go back here, close that. Don't save. Oh, I was going to mention this too. This is a Mandalorian fighter that I found online a while back that they, you know, where I found it, they said this is a microfighter version of the Mandalorian fighter. Mandalorian fighters, you've seen Clone Wars, I think. I don't think you saw him too much in Rebels, but I believe you did see him in Rebels. A lot of stuff around, what's her name? Pink hair, designs everything, spray paints everything, forget her name. So yeah, so this is just, it's too big. It's, first of all, it's 120 parts, which isn't terrible, but it's just way too big. I mean, most microfighters are like as big as the body here, right? And in order, because this is a, that's not right. Where's the thing that spins? One of these rotates, and I forget which one it is. If it sits in there, yeah, so anyway, these wings kind of rotate over the top like this, so this stays still and the wings rotate. It's very similar to the T6 shuttle. And I got the T6 shuttle to work, so I'm going to go back and rework this one, and I haven't ordered parts for this one yet because I think I need to rework it. But every time I look at it and I look at the real one, I'm like, all these parts are needed. I mean, this is as minimalized as I can make it, but that back end is just too big. And it makes the whole thing too big. But it's like, it has to be so big so the wings can go over the top of the minifigure. And it has to be longer than the front, and the front can only be so long, and it, you know, and I end up giving up and then like coming back much later. So let's start with a figure. Actually, and let's see if I can open recent and do, I'll just grab the figure from this one. And we're going to save this as the Starforge. So, while I'm doing this, I'd like to talk a moment about FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm going to break this one up and kind of make it into the figure. The whole reason I believe I got this Darth Vader bust is because I felt like everybody was getting it, and it was an exclusive. And if you didn't have it, then you were missing out. And we all know that you can't miss out. That would be bad. So I bought one. Even though I, like a week before, somebody on, oh, that's good. They put that on like a bow front kind of thing. That's a pretty good approximation. So I ordered it, even though the parts were available on BrickLink. You can order the instructions, and somebody had broken it up into the parts, and that's a pretty good look. And I could have just got them that way if I really wanted to just build it, but I actually wanted the box and the set, and there wasn't anything special. There's no, you know, there's no special sticker or anything like that, like a holographic thing. That's not a special box like these, right? and it doesn't have an exclusive thing up there, which is kind of a bummer, you know. And for 327 pieces, it was $40. Not a great part count, but you're also paying for Star Wars, the name, but you're also not getting any minifigures. So it's kind of like, you know, maybe if I held on to this for a little while, I could resell it and it would be worth something. So we'll see. Anyway, back to this. So this is going to be a problem with all minifigures, so I'm just going to have to color her. You can't really make these things in studio. Lego does make little like robes, like waist robes and stuff, so we're just going to do an approximation for now. Reddish brown, orange, regular orange is fine for now. And then I don't know what kind of torso we're going to be able to find, but we'll find something that's close. Oh, can I skip a song? There's no way I want to listen to this song. All right. So anyway, music today brought to you by Radio Cutman. Does a lot of streams of lo-fi stuff and chiptune and whatever else. I'm going to see if I can do this one instead. I'm going to pick a different channel, maybe. Because this music is not... Sorry, that was really bothering me for a second. Videos, all videos, live. What's going on live with this? Just that. All right. Anyway, let's get back to this. So the torso is going to be kind of weird because we're not going to be able to get it exactly, but I want to get it close. And it's hard to put in armor or, you know, robe or something like that and get exactly what you need. So you just kind of have to make a guess because it's studio, and studio isn't, you know, it's run by, you get the program for free. So it's people who like Lego and want a good product, but they're not going to put in every torso ever made. So you just kind of have to get close. And I almost want something that just has a bit of brown, well, or even overalls. But it has a bit of brown in like the shirt, and then I can color the outside of it orange. See, this kind of stuff I like doing, but I know in terms of viewing, it's probably not very exciting. I'm just scrolling through torsos. So let's see. Oh, that may be good. That's close enough for now. I don't know what that is, but check it out. What do our arms look like? Okay, so does she have gloves on? Negative. Although I may color her hands brown just to give it another level of... Yeah, maybe. Oh. And then she needs a female face. So, and it needs to be serious. Serious face is serious. I like this face a lot. The only problem is it is Spider-Girl. Or Spider-Woman. So we'll have to cover it with hair, which is fine because she has a pretty regular ponytail hairdo. We just have to make sure if we give her long hair that she's got a she can fit that on the ship. Like, we can't go higher than this behind her, or else it won't fit. So yeah, light flesh. There we go. All right, so that's her. Yeah, ignore whatever this logo and whatever is. We'll just go with that. She has a lightsaber too, and I think it's a double-bladed. Yeah, so don't know if we're going to be able to do that. All right, so let's stick her on a big old sphere. Now, the easiest thing to do would be to find those quarter panel domes. Quarter dome. I forget what they're called. That's too big. Corner brick. These guys. This might be a little big, but we'll just play with it. Nope. So this is going to make a nice sphere because we're going to get a bunch of them. And then we'll figure out how to attach them all to each other later. But that'll give us a nice sphere. And we'll move that up. Up, up, up. Nope. It needs to be that. Up, 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 up. Over, 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 over. Gonna leave some room in there because I know that we're gonna have to attach it somehow, and I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. So let's take one of these and look at it. I think we can put, now this is it's technically an illegal build, but if you put a half a pin in here, like so, and you shove it all the way down in there, then it'll connect to that top stud. The problem is this is an illegal build because it stresses this. Here's a term we haven't talked about much, illegal builds. An illegal build is something that the brick wasn't intended to do. The best example of an illegal build is when you take two plates, or you take a plate, right? I'm gonna remember to go back to it when it's done. Take your plate, regular plate, and then you shove another plate in between the studs. We used to do this all the time. Technically, this is an illegal build. And the reason it's illegal, even though Lego has done this occasionally, not often, but occasionally, is it stresses the brick, right? It stresses the plastic. It's not supposed to do that. It pinches the sides of that and it stresses the studs. So that's not a legal build. So anything that stresses the plastic is an illegal build. And this is technically illegal because these, the friction pins, the middle of it will squish. And what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to squish, and you can see these clips. They're supposed to come out the other side of a hole and kind of pop out so it stays in. But if you push it into something that it can't expand again, you're putting stress on that. That's why this is an illegal build. So I probably won't do it. But that's a way to do it. You could probably put them in here just the same. But again, they don't have anything to kind of expand out of. There's another way to do this, which is, I'm gonna have to research it, but I think the way I would do it, like right off the bat, is do one of these like ring clips, because they've got basically studs on two sides. So you clip it in there, and you get another one of these guys, and it just goes on top like that. And leaves a gap, but you can fill that gap with stuff. So there's going to be some problems that we need to work on. Attaching these half cylinders to each other, and oh, hi dog. Hi Finn. We're dog sitting our friend Finn, our friend's dog. He's here with us for a day, and he's curious about what I'm doing. Yes. The other thing we need to worry about is there are three you can see there's three, it comes out three sides. So this is going to be complicated. There's very few things that are three of anything. Everything's either a square or rounded, or comes in a quarter or a half. Very few things come in threes. So There is one that I know of. Oh, there's that one. There's that one. And then I forget what the other one is called. It's like a triangle. It's the thing that I made the I made a Thai Phantom out of it, and I forget what the piece is called. I have no idea how even to look this up. Because it's like a really weird, it's like a Nexo Night. Maybe if I put in Nexo. Nexo. See, these are all just going to be shields though. It's a Nexo Night piece, but I forget what the actual piece is called. I think it might be too big for this anyway, because then we'd have to, it's only one-sided with studs, so we'd have to have two of them, and there's not a really good way to connect it. So I'm thinking what might happen here is we'll do, this is going to be really big, and I'm not really sure how to do this yet. I also might not use these. They may be too big. But I don't know if anything smaller that's a quarter that size, or that's a dome like that, that we can, I mean, there's these, but that's entirely too small. This just may be too big, because here's the thing, I can sit her on top of this, right? And then I can have the big flanges come out on either side, and that's probably going to be all right. So let's just work from that premise. So now here's the thing: do we want to? You know what? Bar or no? Axle 3. I spelled axle wrong. We want a really small axle. I wish that were smaller. Is there a 2? What is this music even? That may be better. Doesn't matter because nobody's watching. Two by 2 round plate. So here's the thing. I know today's it's Passover. It's Easter. But I'll tell you what. If you are watching this at a later time, thank you for clicking. Go ahead and pass on a subscribe, and get updated whenever I do new videos. And I'm gonna try to do more. I keep saying I'm gonna get the my camera fixed or figured out how to do live builds, so that will be fun. I'm gonna try to do that again before next time. Why won't this click on there? Oh, because it's sticking out a little bit. Alright, now here's the thing. That is not terribly stable, and it doesn't even look that good. This may be harder than I wanted it to be. This model. But it's round, and I can cover the sides with stuff. And if I just make it kind of, you know, not really big, but gives it the indication of little fins going up and down. That'll probably be all right. Yeah. And I think I want it to face this way because that's the front. All right. Not that it matters really. They're going to get the same treatment, but I want it in the same direction as my pilot. So the next thing is, oh, you know what? You know what would be better? If these have, and they don't. Well, that's unfortunate. I was hoping these would have axle centers, but they don't. So I have a feeling this is going to be pretty 2x2 round plate. If I cover them with these, then that'll be all right. They'll hold together okay. Plus I could kind of lead that into the fins on either side. So at some point, I think I can do a round brick. Get some macaroni noodles in here. Why these are called macaroni, I don't have any idea. These aren't big enough. What about these guys? Those are not big enough either. Are these too big? Those are too big. Isn't that about the way? All right, we'll have to come back to that. So if we look at this, there is a seam in here. This is basically perfectly round, but there is a seam that we should be able to work with a little bit. And I think that's pretty ubiquitous across all designs, is that kind of seam in the middle of it. Yeah. So now we're going to do these big, well, let's get this extended out a little bit first. So we'll do a axle connector. And I just need that basically. Push it out a little bit to each side because we're going to put another axle in those. Where'd it go? Nope. So now I think the easiest thing might be to do, because I think they have plate axle. I don't know if they've got, and they don't. Brick axle. I thought maybe they would have like this, but with an axle on it instead of a pin. All right, so we're almost done with this beer. Open up the Founders next. Anything else I'm not mentioning? New Star Wars stuff. Talked about that a little bit. Photography. Oh, if you haven't seen the picture that I posted on Instagram about how I took a picture of the owl, it's that I don't have a really good photography setup. I don't have a light box. I don't have an infinity corner or whatever they call it, where it's all white and you don't see any background with the diffused light on either side, so there's no shadows. I hung up a blue drape and then got a light way off into the side and did it in the kitchen where there's a bunch of lights, so it was the most diffuse I could. And then, you know, did my best with my phone. So I need to get a, I've built a light box out of a cardboard box, and I just need to put some tissue paper on the sides and then line it with a piece of paper. And then I can do at least the microfighters. But something bigger like this might be a little more work. Like I might have to have a whole section of a room or something to do that. And once the capital's done, I might, you know, I've got a old drawing table over here, and I could set it up to have some white on it and then just light it from both sides. So we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of at a loss for this. So I guess I could do, you know what, let's make the wedge plate things first, and then we'll figure out how to attach them. That seems to be a game plan that I do a lot. So let's see, just wedge plates. I mean, there's a definite distinction between the shapes here and the shapes here. I don't know how. I have an idea, but is that going to be too big? Nah, that'll be all right. So we'll use this for the bottom. So let's do 2 of these. It's getting a little big. Do 2 of those. Which one is that? Which side is that? It's that side. And I guess for now we can do 1x2 studs. 1x2. We can do this nonsense to hold them together. So let's do that. Come on. And that. And then see, this comes again because there's pieces that are half pin, half axle. And going in here would be great, and then I know I could put it over here somewhere, but I don't know. Yeah, I do. 1x1 Technic. There is something really wrong with the way this picks. I'm gonna have to ask them about that. Somebody email me later and remind me to ask BrickLink, or tweet at BrickLink, to look into why every time I first click on that, it doesn't pick up right away. So, not gonna lie, that was pretty good. That that was the Save the World chocolate breakfast stout, and it was pretty good. It had a little bit of a weird aftertaste. There we go. They don't make these in that color, so I'm going to do blue. But it was pretty good. Oh, what? Oh, that just has to be black. Okay. Again, keeping an eye on the colors over here, just to make sure. So that can go there. And then this can be rotated. Oh, you know what? I want to to do that. Please say that will work. Will it? Really? Huh. All right, here's the only problem with this setup is that's going to rotate. So I don't want this because the whole thing will spin like that. I'd like to keep it as an axle. I mean, I'll keep this section. We'll just pull this away. But I'm already seeing that this is going to spin. Even this may be a good... Let's see if I can explain this. That's a good design for it. It's small, but even the most frictionized or the most friction tight, it may be such a level that it won't, because so this is what I was talking about with you can see through those friction slots, right? That's so when you push it in, they compress, and then when it goes to the end, it goes like that. And I just lost the pin. Come on. Of course, roll all the way under there. Why not? Because, you know, stuff. So, hey, what's up, people? So you can see how it pushes through to the other side, right? Push on through to the other side. So this is, it's supposed to be friction, and honestly, that's not too bad. It won't move too much. The problem is you're not always going to get good friction pins like that. You might get an older one, or you might get an old Technic brick. So it'll really depend on what you feel like you can do. So let's just assume that this is going to be good for now. I may have to redo this at a later time. I'm also not convinced. This worked out really well. This is like shockingly. No, that just lines up. What a really weird crazy random happenstance. Huh. All right. So what this means is now I can take this whole setup. Oh, that's not. See, sometimes I don't believe it. Yeah. So now I can take this whole thing, copy, paste, turn. Oh, come on. Paste, turn. So now this is what I mean by it's kind of nice and chibi-ized, because it doesn't have to be, whoops, it doesn't have to be huge like this. I'm going to extend it down a little bit, I think, with smaller wedges, like some 3s here. I probably should have done this first. Oh, so if you're ever working in this software and you have a thing that shows up at an angle, like I'm pointing to it. Here's your straight on, here's your 90 degrees. It shows up like that. If you accidentally take a piece and it clicks like that, it's like stuck in that, and then you're rotating all over the place, and it's frustrating. Oh, the perils. This is just to give it a little bit of fun. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I like that. I'm gonna have to cover these up with something. And I have an idea, because if you look at the way the picture is, it's got like these lights. That's probably not a good. That's probably not a good one either. I saw it earlier. It looked like it had these kind of light panels along one side of it, like this. That's not bad. Kind of black interior kind of thing. Oh, and then there's like all those spires on top. That's pretty good. So we'll copy these out, these two little ones. And that should give us the size we need and the angles. Hang on a second. Whew. Oh, you know what I forgot to do today? Turn the air conditioner on. I forgot that it was cold in here last night, and now I'm hot. So these are just, I'm just going to do this all the way around with these guys. Ugh. Stupid angle. Nope, that's not the way. There we go. Those aren't big enough. I need the 4s. Oh, that's going to be getting in the way. Well, that was good for a hot second. So maybe we'll put these on the outside. And then I can put these, let's do 1x3 plate. 1x3 plates. So I'm going to go ahead and open this other beer while I've got a half hour. Solid. Founders. And then we'll do that. I don't like the way that looks. It's a little too... Is there anything bigger than that? Although we could get rid of this and do a 1x1 brick studs. Bricks on two sides, and then get it out of the way. Yeah, that'll be nicer. Delete, and then I don't really like the way that looks, but it's the right kind of staggeredness. Wedge plate. That was a 4. So if I did another 6, I think it might be too big. Let's try it. Can always go back. Can always undo it. Thing is, if it starts off lower, and then I can add a 4 to it. Grab the thing. Good night. That's not terrible. Let's roll with that for now. Doesn't have to be exact. So let's do... Oh, I've got to replace all these guys too. So I know nobody's watching right now, but if you watch this later, throw a comment down below about what you're seeing here, and if you'd like to see something next week, if you've got an idea of like what your favorite chip is, or if you'd like to see it done. If it's on my list, I'll do it. If it's not been done, I'll add it. And if you got any ideas for beers, like what you're drinking, what you like, if you've seen any good movies, if you are caught up on Star Trek Discovery or the Orville or any other TV shows, let me know what you're thinking. It's fun talking to people, but if there's no one to talk back to, it's just me talking to myself. So, and again, I'll put the description of the, I'll put the link down in the description of the project, the owl up on Lego Ideas. Again, please take a vote, go over there and do some support for it. You may have to create an ID to vote on Lego or to put your support on the project, but I would really appreciate it. Again, there's thresholds, there's levels that you can get that I'm not sure how they go about judging them, but this is actually not too bad. It's almost like the bigger and more obscure it is, the more fun it is to do. And I'm wondering if I could, it's hard to see. It's like, I hate to say this, but it's like the lighting is weird on these outside ones, but. So here's what I was gonna do. Because now, gotta save. We got to a good point, let's save. 1x1 bracket. I almost feel like this could be done if this was a, how close is that? Yeah, I probably can't do it. I was gonna say I could do is there a 3? I don't think there's a 3. I think there's just 1, 2 on either side, 1 adjacent, and then a 4. I don't think there's a 3. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that'll have to stay the way it is. Although I can do another bracket underneath. Again, music is by DJ Cutman. Does a lot of lo-fi, chill music, some video game flavor to it. So I was going to do these guys, but I think they may stick out too far. I think one might be all right. And if I do him in a dark color, because I don't think they come in that. And this bracket doesn't come in that color either. That sticks out way too far. I just don't like it. So I at least like this enough to keep it. All right. That's actually not, I had like no hopes for this model at all, but that's pretty good. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. 2x2 round. Since she's sitting up top there, but she doesn't have to be sitting down here. And I don't exactly know what's on the bottom of this thing. Let's look. No way of knowing. All right. Oh, you know what? I could almost make it. Let's get fancy here. Every time I throw a tile on something, I'm like, it's fancy now. Kind of digging this music. It's not too bad. Yeah. All right. So that's good. We're making progress. This might be one of the few that actually feel like we get done. Of course, I am stuck with this gaping hole in the sides here. Oh, you know what? Can we color these? Nope. Oops. So let's stick her up there now. It kind of looks ridiculous, honestly. But what are you gonna do? All right, so let's try to figure out how to close these gaps. These gaps I'm not gonna worry about because it's kind of adds to like the whole thing. But I really want to cover these. And I thought for sure 3x3, that's just such a weird size. See, this is, I think, the size. Nope, that's not even right. Oh, but good to know. That would be neat on something else. Let's see. Um, 4x4 plate round. So 3x3, that would be 6x6. Is there a 6x6 plate round? Oh, you're funning me. But I mean, that would be the size, right? Nope. All right, so back to brick round. Now, before I've done a cheat where I've just filled something up with round bricks like this. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, relax. So I wonder if I can do one by one round plates. Because this isn't really round, but it gives the impression because it's a bunch of smaller round things make it look like it's round. Because logic. But I don't have a way to get these guys in there. So frustrating. All right, this may be a thing that I have to work on later. Let's see. Anything else we need to talk about? Oh, I don't know if I mentioned, but I bought all the parts for my RQ4, or I'm going to. This is what the RQ4 is going to look like. Right? That's a lot of parts, and I still need about $60, $70 worth of parts. So, again, if you see this, there's a link in the description for supporting the Barn Owl Ideas project, and also there's a link to donate if you like what you're watching. You don't have to, but if you don't, I would at least like to hear what you think of the channel. So drop me a line, and let me know what you think. I just had an idea. Yeah. Are these 3 high? They're 4 high, aren't they? But these are... Oh, and they only go one way, too. Nope, they go the other way. Okay, how do we make this cheat? It goes there. And then this goes in here. Oh, that's so close. Can I rotate that? All right, so it's at 360. Let's just do 10, see what happens. 15. 18. 20. It's not gonna work. Yeah, it's getting in the way. All right, well, that was an idea. If we had, if Lego made smaller doors, it would work. But that's, you know, that's not a bad idea there. How big are those? Those have flames on them. I don't want flames. Do not need no flames. So I'm stuck with this kind of. I'm not giving up on the actual sphere size because I think that's a good size, and it's weird enough that it's still super deformed, but it's very obvious what this is. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know what that is, right? These could even come up a little bit on top of the studs, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. I think I'm asking a lot to fill in, because here's going to be the problem. Back here is going to be one thing, because that's 2 studs wide. I can drop something in between here, no problem. But if I come over here, that's 1 stud. That's going to be different. It's going to, the whole structure is going to be different in between there. So, yeah, I think I'm going to call it right now. This is a pretty good stopping point. I'm happy with the way it turned out. This is about as far as any model that I've done on any of these streams so far has been. It's a very small piece count, 66 parts. I imagine that it might not get much higher than 80. We're only going to fill in these little areas inside the circles there, and I may end up coming up with a better way to do it. So I don't know. We'll see. So I'll work on this next week, and I'll have it. I'll have a final product up on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and then you'll see it next Saturday. I think that's it. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. If you're new and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody.